Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Laura and Tobin Show. I'm Tobin Schaefer,
And I'm Laura Waltz.
and we're bringing you our monthly stats for Santa Clara County.
And we're going to take a look at March.
How about that?
So we are looking at all of the residential inventory in Santa Clara County. So this is single-family homes, townhomes, and condos. So as you can see, we are looking at a little bit, those little red lines are our actives, greens are sold. So we're looking at a little bit more inventory than we saw in February. We had 1,398 active listings in the month of March. But if you look at that green line, look at those solds. That is 1,484. So solds outpaced active listings by almost 100. Now those solds are going to be some things that have actually went into contract in March and some things that went in February, depending on when, how long the escrow was. But look at that green line compared to the month before. That's a huge increase. So demand is not slowing down. We are starting to see a little bit of an increase in inventory, which we've been expecting as spring comes, but
also as vaccines get out.
And yes, exactly, as we sort of start to move out of the lockdown phase of the pandemic. So, but as you can see, demand has not slowed. So it's still super competitive market for buyers, really, really, really solid market for sellers, which we're going to take a look at average sales price and days on market in the next two slides. So
here's our prices.
Here's our prices. So, in March, the average sales price came in at $1.589 million, so just under $1.6 million. That was actually a 7.2% increase over February, which was at $1.48 million. So, I mean, to see that kind of increase even in a year is significant, let alone month over month. So, the major thing is we're not seeing any signs of this slowing down.
Not so far this year.
Not so far. And then in April so far, the current average home price in Santa Clara County is sitting around $1.64 million. So it's continuing. That final bar is April sales so far.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And how long are things staying on the market for?
So in February, they were at 24 days. March, they were down to 20. And April looks like they're down to 14 so far. So, it's still a hot seller's market out there.
There we go.
I did want to touch on one thing though, because I think for buyers, it's important to say it's, two things. It's not all doom and gloom. There are still opportunities out there. There's more stuff coming on the market every day. We're definitely seeing an increase in inventory. It's still very competitive. It does mean you need to have as we say, actually pretty regularly, have all your ducks in a row. Be pre-approved for that loan. Have a strategy with your agent. If you're trying to go it alone, it's going to be really difficult out there. And then the second thing is, we don't have any slides for this, but condos are kind of an interesting outlier in the market. So there is still really some good opportunity especially for first-time home buyers that want to get their foot in the door. The average, days on market for condos are sitting at around 35 days, and that's been fairly consistent the last couple months. That's like 2 extra whole weeks.
Chance to get in the door.
I mean, so much of what we're seeing with single family homes is you don't even have time to go see something before it's already in contract. And it's a logistical challenge. But the other thing is that the average sales prices have stayed pretty stable on condos over the last year. They're starting to tick up a little bit. We saw in March they went up to about $817,000, but they've been pretty stable around $760,000, $780,000 for the last year. So we're not seeing the craziness necessarily in the condo market. And there actually were 400 actives in March and only 280 sold. So most of what we're seeing really pushing these prices
pushing the statistics.
And pushing the statistics are single family homes. So if you are interested in condos, now's a great time because it's not as competitive as maybe it would have been. And maybe you could get into a neighborhood, where
Sure.
previously you thought you couldn't. So
Sure. Yeah, so, basically reach out and we can help get you placed.
yeah, happy to sit down and talk about a strategy and take a look at what's going on in the specific areas that you're looking for, because this is the whole county as well.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, thanks for joining us
thanks
again.
so much.
And we'll see you next month.